Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Elizabeth, are you feeling lucky today?
I don't think luck would really describe how I'm feeling. I feel gratitude today.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about how luck is a really poor strategy when it comes to your health. And I guess why I use the word gratitude is because I could look back on my health journey and actually see it as unlucky. Or I could look back and see how, going through 10 years of chronic illness and the changes that occurred inside of me, and how it set me on a journey towards functional medicine and spirituality. I could see that as a blessing or can have gratitude for that. It really, some of us are, things come up with our health and they stop us in our tracks and we can no longer do the things we want to do. And at that point, it's really important, or before that point, to really pay attention to where you're putting your attention. What's your intention? Because that's really, manifesting your life.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I hope I don't get sick. I hope something bad doesn't happen. What is a better approach?
Hope is not the best approach when it comes to your health. If you, for one, just think of the illnesses that have probably been going around in your community this cold and flu season. It feels like here, at least, we've been hit pretty hard. And I've been very fortunate. I have succumbed to illness once, but with all that's been going on around me, I had to be really intentional about not only taking my specific supplements that I felt like would really optimize the areas I needed help in, but also paying attention to my stress management, paying attention to my hydration. And of course, trying to cut down on making sure I'm not having a lot of sugar, really eliminate those processed foods, those bad oils, seed oils, things like that.
Yeah. So in other words, instead of hoping that you don't get sick, take proactive action. And it starts really in your mind. It starts.
You have to have that intention.
Right. And if you're stressed, you're actually shutting off your immune system. When you're stressed, you're essentially in fight or flight. And when you're in fight or flight, it's the physiological equivalent of being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. And so when you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, your digestion turns off. Your immune system turns off. Yeah. The frontal cortex turns off. So judgment and gratification delay get turned off. So reaching for that cookie becomes much more difficult to resist. So all these things happen when we're stressed. And most of us are stressed out of our minds and we don't even know it. Just yesterday, I saw two people, and there our physiological measurement of their stress, which is a heart rate variability test, showed very high stress. It was pegged at the far side of the graph or whatever. And yet on our questionnaire to them about stress, they had mild to moderate stress. And, if you're a long-tailed cat that lives in a room full of rocking chairs, you don't know how stressful that is, right? And so you just think that that's normal. But most of us are living lives that are ridiculously stressful and we don't even know it. We're like the frog in the proverbial pot of water, slowly bringing the temperature up until it's boiling without management. So that's one piece of the puzzle is our mind.
Yeah, it's not just those external stressors, it's the internal stressors. The thoughts that we think about every day, being on our devices, scrolling, that all keeps us in fight or flight. Next thing, dopamine hit.
Yeah. I have a problem with this machine right here. I'm going to tell you a story that's so ridiculous it's embarrassing. I'm scrolling and I'm watching a thing, and she comes over and kisses me on my cheek, and it's like, I'm trying to watch this. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. That's just dumb, right? So, but that's what happens. We get so involved in this instantaneous gratification that we can't wait to scroll to the next little insignificant, unimportant little diddle that's on there. Well, so that's the mind, and it's internal, and we call these toxins. Our practice is a lot about toxins, but some of these toxins are thoughts. But then there's also food. Food can be toxic, and it can be toxic. Even healthy food can be toxic. In fact,
or it can be healing.
Organic food that is canned by most companies in cans that have BPA. So there's BPA even in organic food that's canned.
Yeah, or any of the packaging. Come in plastic packaging.
Yep. If it comes in packaging and it doesn't specifically say BPA free. And recently we got a package, it said no BPA intentionally added. And the reason why they had to say that is because it was recycled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's these toxins. We don't think about it, but they're everywhere. And we live in this unbelievably toxic world. In fact, when we do total toxic burdens on people, I commonly find 10 toxins in people. I mean, these are sick people, right? So they're coming in because they don't feel well. And one of the reasons people don't feel well often is toxins. So we do the test, and they'll have 10 toxins they have higher than 95% of the top population. And we'll find another 11 or 12 or 15 where it's higher than 75% of the population.
Yeah.
And 50 percentile probably is too toxic, by the way. Just because it's normal doesn't mean it's optimal. So these toxins are a big deal. And then I started to talk about diet. So toxins sometimes come from our diet, but sometimes the foods we choose are kind of toxic.
Yeah, and from my own journey, and we don't mean to be Debbie Downers here, and I'm sorry to use the word Debbie. It's a saying. Sorry, Debbie, if there's Debbie watching. Because it is everywhere, and you can still be intentional with it. Like, I think about myself, and probably for the last 15 years, I've been very intentional about what I eat, choosing organic. And yet, when we did a total tox burden on me just not that long ago, I had tons of toxins, and my BPA was off the charts. And I still think I'm doing everything right, but yet it comes down to, the one thing I have ignored are these toxins and my management of stress. And even though I try to manage my stress, I'm not doing it very efficiently.
So you might think, so what on earth would her internal thoughts, toxins have to do with actually detoxifying BPA? Well,
stomach.
Yeah. A major route of detoxification is the gut. And if you're in fight or flight, if you're stressed all the time, you're shutting down your gut. You're functionally malnourished, functionally maldigestion.
Yep, I was so thin for many years.
Yep.
I just wasn't digesting my food. I wasn't detoxifying. It's actually the gut is a big piece of this puzzle.
So we got a little bit on a tangent about toxins, but this idea of of hope and luck isn't a strategy for health. It really has to do with, people, they want to do these dramatic things, like they want to do a 10-day detox, or they want to do a 10-day cleanse or whatever. And what I would say is we need to build resilience every single day. So a 10-day detox is 355 days too short is the problem. And of course, you do something super intense and you detox too quickly, you make yourself sick. You make yourself not feel good. A lot of people, if you're walking around feeling pretty healthy, you can do a 10-day detox because you're probably not that unhealthy, but you're not that sick. But sick people have chronic illness. They try to do a 10-day detox and it crushes them. So really, it's about trying to build resilience every day. And it's about not being afraid. So, we do a test as an example called an MCG. It is a totally non-invasive test that has about 90% of the predictive power of an angiogram. It is better for looking at heart disease, early risk of heart disease, than a treadmill test or a nuclear medicine stress test or a CT angiogram or a calcium score or any of that stuff. And so we're able to find disease far before it's clinically relevant and fix it. Or we do various tests for early detection of cancer. And when I say early, I don't mean like, oh, we found a cancerous polyp on your colonoscopy. I mean, we found what's probably a few thousand cells in your body, and we're going to get rid of them before they're able to turn into a tumor.
Basically stage 0.
Stage 0 cancer instead of finding it at stage 1. So there are these kinds of opportunities, and then just trying to help people with their diet and lifestyle. You know, we've recently started this program, Precision Weight Management, Count Calories, Not Toxins, because, you know, people are walking around being told that they just don't have enough willpower to lose weight, and that's just ridiculous. If you think of everything else you've done in your life, you have plenty of willpower. Your toxins, both mental and environmental, are compelling you to eat the wrong foods. And by detoxifying and then choosing a whole foods diet, things turn around and get better.
Yeah. So, you know, I always like to, again, talk about those action steps. And the main thing we want to stress here is that health isn't just something that happens. It's something that you really have to be intentional about. You have to pay attention to it, and you have to create it every single day. And some days you're going to intentionally, you know, go to that birthday party, and you're going to enjoy things.
You don't get sick on your birthday.
And it's not, we're trying to stress, it's not all about food. It's not all about the exercise. Those are all great things, but we really have to pay attention to that mental, emotional, spiritual part of the matrix that is so important. And you can do all the other things right. You can do those 5 modifiable lifestyle factors to best of your ability. But if you're not doing that mental, emotional, and spiritual part.
And if you're stressed out about whether or not you got your 2 hours of exercise today,
that's not helping either.
Probably not helping.
I know. It's, you
know, but
it's a balance.
It is. But this idea of no, I forgot what you said a minute ago, and I started to chime in, but I didn't
mental,
really know.
Emotional, spiritual is what I was.
Yeah, it was before that. But anyway,
health is something you create.
Health is something you create, and you create it every day, a little bit at a time. Who is it? Confucius. The journey of 10,000 miles starts with the first step, and version 1 is better than version none. So people think that they have to be perfect on the first try, but in fact, if you don't eliminate the sugar, but you do add a vegetable, that's a step in the right direction. You know, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day about, you know, doing it perfect is great, but doing it better is actually more important. Just doing it a little better, just a little bit better.
Because the perfect part probably ends into the, you know, it leads into that stress part. So if you're worried about being perfect, you're going to fail. You're going to be in that cycle of, I failed.
Yeah, I didn't do it perfect, so I might as well just give up. Instead of, hey, I did it a little bit better. This is okay. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
So, hope is not a strategy. And there are steps that you already know how to take. You know what's going on in your life, right? You know if you need to eat 1 more serving of vegetables. You know if you need to take a walk. You know if you need to find some way to manage your stress in a healthier way. And so
you know how to be present.
And you know how to be present. Yeah. You know how to put this thing down. In fact, I just made a commitment to put this thing down at 6 p.m. every day. It's done. So that the evening is not disturbed by it. And it's amazing how much time that frees up. We're getting all kinds of stuff done in the evenings, and it's fun because we're
ready to go to bed by 8:30.
and ready to go to bed. Yeah,
which isn't bad either.
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're about 15 minutes in. So
We are.
It's usually time that we wrap things up. Any comments or questions? And if you're watching this after the live, thank you. And also add in your comments and questions. We go back and we look at these and
We try to review and answer everything.
Yep. Sometimes initially we get all of them, then maybe a week later I'll go back and look and
Alrighty. Well, listen, thanks for your time today, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.